Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
Much for staying with us on the show. While we wait to establish connection with my guest on the program this afternoon, let's look at what is happening in the world of business, where the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, on Thursday cautioned that the growing adoption of staple coins and the private digital payment platform could heighten foreign exchange volatility and weaken monetary policy transmission in emerging economies. Cardoso spoke at the opening ceremony of the G24 Technical Group meeting in Abuja, where he delivered a plenary address titled Digital Cross-Border Payment, Global Finance and Economic Transformation Opportunities and Risks. He said that the expansion of private digital payment platform and stablecoin raises concern about currency substitution and weakened monetary transmission, and also increased FX volatility and capital flow pressures and systemic importance and non-bank payment providers, regulatory arbitrage and fragmentation. According to him, while digital innovation presents a historic opportunity to address inefficiencies in cross-border payment, it must be approached with caution to preserve macroeconomic stability. Without coordination, digital cross-border payment risk becoming fragmented across jurisdictions, entrenching dominant currencies and platforms, reducing interoperability and increasing cost, and undermining the ability of emerging markets and developing economies to safeguard monetary sovereignty, Cardoso stated. The governor of the Apex Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria, noted that cross-border payment remains slow, costly and fragmented, particularly for developing economies. Today, cross-border payments remains too slow, too costly and too fragmented, especially for developing economies, with global remittance corridors costing over 6.0% settlement, lags of several days, and also compliance burden that excludes MSMEs. Millions remains disconnected from global opportunity, he stated. He explained that the inefficiencies in payment systems translate into higher remittances cost, expensive foreign exchange transactions, and barrier to small and medium-sized enterprises seeking access to global markets. Cardoso said digital infrastructure such as instant payment systems, interoperable platform, and distributed ledgers, technology and digital identity framework could reduce transactions cost, shorten settlement times, and strengthen monetary policy transmission, and also designed without resilience and strong governance. He said that Nigeria had taken the deliberate steps to modernize its payment ecosystem, including strengthening oversight of switching the payment infrastructure and providers, enhancing agents and agent banking regulations to address anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing risk, and improving interoperability across payment channels. The governor disclosed that the Apex Bank was conducting work on our new payment system Vision 2028 aimed at boosting innovation, strengthening resilience, and advancing financial inclusion, with a strong focus on improving cross-border payments and its environment. He said in June 2025, Nigeria launched the National Payment Stack, a next-generation real-time payment system built on ISO 20022 messaging to support multi-currency and cross-border transactions. Cardoso also highlighted reforms in the remittance space, including the reintroduction of the non-resident Nigerian ordinary account for remittances and family support, the non-resident Nigerian investment account for diaspora investment, and the non-resident BVN platform to enable Nigerians abroad open and service accounts digitally. He also said that as a result of these platforms, the remittance inflow now average around $600 million per month, and we are confident of reaching up to $1 billion monthly milestone in the near terms, the governor of the Apex Bank stated. He stressed that the central bank must safeguard monetary and financial stability while modernizing payment and settlement systems. The task before us, he said, is to shaping the future in global finance rather than be shaped by it. Cardoso added, "I reaffirm Nigeria's commitment to working with G24 members, the IMF and the World Bank Group to build a more inclusive, more resilient and development-oriented global financial system." Correspondent earlier in September 2025 reported that President Bola Tinubu had directed the Financial Capital Market Authorities to monitor the increasing use of stablecoins and digital currencies in Nigeria, cautioning that a shift away from traditional banking system represents emerging challenges that must be proactively managed. Speaking at the 18th Annual Banking and Finance Conference of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria in Abuja, Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, acknowledged the global financial system and rapid transformation. Now moving on to the mining sector, where the federal government has projected that the mining sector will raise employment from the recently 0.3% to 500,000 jobs by the year 2030, amid expectations of attracting a $1 billion in foreign investment and foreign direct investment by the year 2025. The government also targeted increasing the sector's contribution to the gross domestic product GDP to 8% by the year 2030, 10% by the year 2035, as part of efforts to deepen economic diversification and industrial growth. These targets are contained in the Nigerian Industrial Policy unveiled on Tuesday in Abuja, where the government outlined strategies to unlock the potential of the country's mineral resources. A policy document stated that the share of the mining sector in total is expected to be 8% by the year 2030, 10% by the year 2035, noting that the sector has recorded a significant growth in recent years, but remains below a full potential. The document noted that the mining industry attracted $100 million in FDI in 2022 from the $78 million in 2019, and investment from countries including China, Brazil, and India. It added that the outlook of this industry is bright, as the government is projecting that it will bring in $1 billion through foreign direct investment annually by the year 2025. The policy emphasized that the sectors currently contribute about 0.3% to employment in Nigeria, but has potential to create up to 500,000 jobs by the year 2030 if properly harnessed. It also added that the sector contributed 400 billion naira, representing 0.33% to the gross domestic product GDP in the year 2015, and rose to 4.4 trillion naira, of 5.54% of gross domestic product GDP in the year 2024. The government said that Nigeria's industrialization trajectory would be significantly enhanced by unlocking its mineral wealth, and pledged to create a framework that promotes sustainable development, economic growth, and social responsibility in the mining sector. The government is therefore committed to creating a framework that promotes sustainable development and economic growth and social responsibility in the mining sector, the document stated. To achieve this, the federal government said it would establish clear regulations and guidelines for mining activities, including licensing, environmental impact assessment, safety standards, and it also promised to offer incentives such as tax breaks, subsidies, and investment guarantees to attract investors. The document stated that the government will establish clear regulations and guidelines for mining activities, including licensing, environmental impact assessment, and safety standard, offers incentive and attract investment in the mining sector, such as tax break and subsidies, and also encourage value-added activities such as processing and manufacturing to increase the economic benefit of mineral resources. The government added that it would ensure environmentally sustainable mining, foster community participation through benefit sharing and arrangement, and to build local capacity through training and development. Nigeria is endowed with solid minerals such as coal, gold, bitumen, gypsum, iron ore, lead zinc, rock salt, talc, bentonite, bauxite, kaolin, and limestones. Others include tin, columbite, gemstones such as sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, and emerald. And moving on still, where the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASEN, on Thursday has rejected President Bola Tinubu's newly signed executive order mandating the direct remittances of gas revenue, oil revenue to the Federation account, describing the directive as dangerous precedent capable of undermining the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021 and eroding investors' confidence in the oil and gas sector. PENGASEN asked Tinubu to immediately recall the order to avoid sending wrong signals to investors, saying an executive order cannot set aside a law that is in force. The president on Wednesday signed the executive order directing that royalties oil, tax oil, profit gas, and other revenues due to the Federation under the production sharing, profit sharing, and risk service contracts be paid directly into the Federation account. The order also scrapped the 30% Frontier Exploration Fund under the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021 and stopped the 30% management fee on profit oil and profit gas retained by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL. Reacting in a press conference in Lagos on Thursday, the president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASEN, Comrade Festus Osifo, who also doubles as the president of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, said the union was troubled by the development and called for the immediate withdrawal of the order. He stated that strongly believe that this particular case, the president has been misled, and he said that the union strongly believe that the people advising the president are not telling him the entire truth. The union leader also argued that an executive order could not override an existing law enacted by the National Assembly, insisting that the directive directly attacked provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021. The provisions of Section 8, Section 9, and Section 64 of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021 are clear. He stated, it took Nigeria over 10 years to enact the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021. You cannot wake up one day and by executive order set aside the provisions of the law. This is an aberration, he said, and should have never happened, he stated. However, Comrade Festus Osifo disputed the claims of 30% of the revenue under the production sharing contract that goes to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL. It was stated that 30% of the revenue from production sharing contract goes to the NNPCL. This, he said, was not correct, and also stated that the 30% of the Frontier Exploration Fund, which goes to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL, that the money is not meant for the NNPCL. All right, that's where we'll be drawing a curtain on the show today due to one or two. I couldn't really have my guest who was supposed to throw more light into the inflation and statistics, but hopefully when we have that opportunity to do that, he will always be here to talk to us. On behalf of everyone here, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. We'll see you again on the next one. I'm Lawrence Osifo. Bye for now.
the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbede Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in Okada town, the initiates, led by Chief Elder Ogbede Onwonse, visited the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, at his Okada country home residence to pay homage and appreciate him for all he has done in the development of the community, which has placed Okada in world map. They also thanked him for his role in the success of their ceremony. They commended the Esama of Benin as a custodian of Benin cultural heritage and for revitalizing the age-long tradition of the age-grade ceremony.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.